Yo, what's going on, everybody?
What's up, guys?
What's up, dude?
What's happening?
Okay. Hey, so what's up, Investors Drive Nation? Today we're going to have our boy on, Sam Roisum. Just happens to, yeah, thanks for coming. He just happens to be
My cousin.
his cousin, but that's not why I brought him on here. Brought him on here for bigger reasons. But anyway, Investor Thrive, thanks for tuning in. Today we're going to, bring our guy on, Sam. He's an expert closer. He is an ultimate closer, amazing salesman. So we brought him on here. He is not affiliated specifically with wholesaling or real estate, but if he did want to join in on real estate, he'd crush it. You already know that. But he's chosen a different path, but is interested in real estate and dabbles in it a little bit with his pops. So we're going to have him on there. Corey, who's sponsoring? What studio are we in? And who's sponsoring this video?
We're in the Investor Thrive studio.
That's right. Investor Thrive. What is Investor Thrive, Corey?
So Investor Thrive is a business we started to help people in their personal lives and in their real estate professions.
Yeah.
So if you wanna learn more about it, go to investorthrive.com. Check it out. We got some courses on there, free courses that you can check out. Learn about wholesaling, learn about real estate, all the good stuff.
Free courses for you. We want to give back because when we started wholesaling, we didn't know what we were doing.
Yeah.
But now we know through lots of study.
Yeah, it's really tailored to
hard work,
newer people, right?
Trial and error is literally
Trial and error
what
is the
it
name
is.
of the game.
I wish it wasn't, right? I wish you didn't have to.
Just trial and succeed.
Trial and succeed, but it's trial and error and a lot of failing. And if you're not ready to fail, get out of business because it's inevitable. But success is inevitable if you don't give up.
Fail your way to the top, right?
Fail your way to the
That's the
top.
saying.
So Sam, ultimate closer, the ultimate salesman. So we want to bring you on, talk to you about your life, and see what value you can provide Investors Drive Nation, and hopefully we can all learn together. So let's do a quick bio, man. Let
Sure.
people know who you are.
Yeah, well, thanks for having me. This is a really nice place. Investor Thrive has you guys saddling the right horse, man, because it looks good up in here.
They really did take care of us.
It's nice. It's way cooler than I thought.
What were you
Now
thinking?
we just need a sign.
I thought a garage with like some cardboard and like around the mic, like 8 Mile.
But
you
no,
know?
we got like 8 Mile.
Yeah.
No, but we got the little soundproof little things. Yeah, so they've done a really good job. Thanks for appreciating Investor
For
Drive.
sure, it's cool.
Yeah.
A little bit about me, like I met these guys at school. Corey and I were roommates at Rick's College, aka BYU Idaho.
That's right.
2008, and I went to school for liberal arts and wasn't too good at college.
Did you go to BYU Idaho?
Yeah.
You were going. Okay, I thought
Before
you.
our missions.
Oh, before the
Before
missions. Okay.
2008, I was there for a semester.
Liberal arts. What is that?
Music,
Okay.
painting, all that kind of stuff,
That's
and
the piano man over here.
piano,
He
all
plays
that.
the piano,
and,
too.
and I loved it, but you kind of look down the barrel of the gun and you're like, well, how am I going to have a family
Right.
doing art or drawing cartoons?
Unless you're like, the Marvel guy, whatever that dude's name was.
Right, Stan.
Stanley.
Stanley.
Something like that.
Stanley.
Rest in peace.
Yeah, R.I.P.
Yeah.
But yeah, I didn't do well. I ended up failing out of school my first semester. Went and served a 2-year Mormon mission in Knoxville, Tennessee with the Southerners. And growing up, I had a cousin who I always looked up to.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember he went out and he had an APX flat brim. And he'd come home with boats and these
APX is that
alarms, Apex, which is now Vivint, formerly known as
Back in the
APX.
day, yeah.
This is a long time ago.
flat brimmed.
Flat brim, belt buckle, the polos. They used to
This-
have those parties, at college and
Oh,
stuff.
of
They still
course.
recruit there. But I saw him, and he didn't go to school, and I saw him be a huge success. He had a beautiful wife and family, had a nice house, nice car, boats, all that kind of stuff, and it was like door-to-door sales, which I was like, that's like a scam.
Mm-hmm. Did you
right?
say
Like,
boats? He has more than one boat?
he's had a few different boats.
Oh,
yeah,
dang.
not like all at one time.
I'm
I'm just saying, like,
He must be balling.
he'd been a huge success. Keith Dyer, huge success. Shout out. I learned so much from him. He's one of the main guys that I take a lot from. But so I just was going to give it a shot. Got back from a mission, had a couple different random sales jobs just in between, like the summer. That fall, I worked at a place called Online Image. They do Google like ad spaces. I know you guys do pay-per-click sometimes in this industry. We would sell local and organic search. So I got to learn that space of what people are searching and what type of businesses are looking and what the the customer is looking for, whether it's, plumbing or that type of stuff. So I started selling that, and I got pretty good. Like, it was a brand new branch of the company, and I ended up working really hard and getting to be like the top closer there. Nice. And then I went out to do some preseason trips in the cold here in Utah.
Did you go with
my cousin's company?
That guy. Okay.
It was Platinum Protection. Shout out Platinum, no longer around, but
shout out.
I learned from a guy named Rob Reimer, who was my first manager, and everyone has this expectation, summer sales, you're going to make all this money. And
that's how they get you.
Yeah. So I had
part of the pitch. That is the pitch.
I had some pretty lofty goals.
What were they?
I think I wanted to make $150,000 my first summer.
Oh yeah.
Just get out
there. Good luck, baby.
Start off with a bang, huh?
And my cousin was a baller.
Yeah.
So he did go do that.
His first year?
His first year.
Oh, gosh.
He was, and so
he's that one guy they use on all the pitches to be like, hey, this guy first year did this. And everyone's like, okay.
Mm-hmm. And so I kind of thought, okay, well, he did that. Like, I can do that too. And the company ended up going out of business. So we went over to Apex, Vivint, and our market was Seattle, which is where I'm from. I'm from Tacoma, which is about 45 minutes south. And so it was like, oh, cool. I'll kind of be by my family and I'll go sell. And so get out there and knock on some doors. And lo and behold, people don't just lay over and decide to buy stuff.
No way, brother.
So I was getting rocked. Fast forward 4 months, most people quit at what? You did Dish. When do people quit?
Within the first month, mainly.
Yeah, and they sell how many? 2, 3?
Yeah, well, Dish was a little different, but still like...
a low amount, right?
Yeah.
So 4 months in, I'd sold about 25. I'd had 13 ripped out of the house, meaning people had canceled, saying, hey, we don't want this crap. Come and take it out.
Oh,
no. And I would wake up every day really depressed.
And stressed.
I mean, like, I literally would lay on my floor before the meeting, and I would, like, have tears in my eyes. Like, I was so afraid to go knock. I hated it, just all the rejection.
Dude, wow.
And so it was not glorified at all. I'd made basically my hourly wage. I did the math on it, like, this last summer, was basically around, like, $3 an hour was what I was getting paid.
Golly. But you were working, when you do door-to-door sales, like, not, like, 10 to 9, right? Or I don't know what hours you were working, but we'd go out early and
we'd have a meeting at, like, 11, 12, and then from 1 until 9. So 8, 9 hours during the week, and then Saturdays, 10, 12
dinner.
hours. Oh, yeah. Yep. And so I was making no money. And
sounds just like a mission.
Yeah, I mean, it was basically free. I was letting a lot of people know about Vivint.
Yeah, seriously.
Not a lot of interested people, but
it's crazy the marketing they're getting just from free marketing.
It was it was wild. And so I kind of got to this point to where I was like, all right, I'm going to finish this. Like, I learned to kind of be a finisher because I used to quit on everything. I was like, I'm just going to stick
this out. When did you stop quitting on everything? Do you have a time in your life where you're like, hey, stop?
The 2 years. Finishing my mission, I would say that gets the credit. And this experience, too. Like, I've been really talented at a lot of stuff, but I would just quit when it got hard, whether it was musicals, diving. Like, as soon as it got a little bit hard, I'd throw in the towel. Piano, throw in the towel.
So that's over now.
Wow.
I love it, dude.
Never again.
Never again. Got it.
Never.
Sorry to interrupt.
That's
a great question.
It's a great question. And so I had a regional come, like you guys, how you're coaching people. Like, I had a guy, a mentor, come and shadow me on the doors. And he's like, dude, your pitch is flawless.
Really?
It's like your pitch is perfect. You just don't transition at the right time to get inside the house. He's like, watch. We're going to knock this door, and we're going to sell the next house that you
That's
pitch.
great. That's a great critique.
Oh, it was perfect.
Yeah.
And on the next door, I got to that same spot where I struggled. Everybody, he's like, dude, everyone listens to you. They're all smiling, listening, and then they just go, not interested because you don't transition. You're scared of going inside.
Yeah.
And so he transitioned for me. We went inside, and we closed that deal. And we
look back, baby.
We got back to the car, and he's like, Sam, like, you're a 150, 200 account guy. You're just not in the right office. You need to go to a different market and just give this one more shot.
Because you were at home. That's probably why.
I was in Tacoma. I was living in an apartment.
Mentor?
What's Tyler Mickelson?
Tyler Mickelson.
Shout out Tyler Mickelson. He's a director of sales at Sunrun, one of the biggest solar.
He'll see this podcast. We gotta make sure.
I'll make sure. I'll send him a link.
Let's do it. Yeah.
But he gave me a little bit of belief in myself that I could do it.
That's like half the battle is just belief, right?
Belief and not quitting.
You can do it, yeah.
You throw those two things together, like you're bound to stumble upon some type of luck.
You know what's really interesting about not quitting? There's a book called The Dip that Jerry Norton told me about. The guy told me about it. He said sometimes, like, nobody wants to quit, right? That's like...
No.
But sometimes it's like you got to know, not saying for you in your situation, but some people, they just keep going, and it's like, hey, sometimes it's okay to quit. But it's hard to say that, right? Because after it's like, well, is it okay to quit? But anyway, the book, The Dip, if you read it, it talks about like sometimes it is more beneficial to like bail, right?
100%. Sometimes you got to transition.
Maybe think of it more of a transition to like.
You're right. Learn from your mistakes and keep going.
Yeah,
Not
like
complete.
transition to something better, right?
Right.
You don't want to quit.
That's what the premises of the book is. It's not that you just give up. It's just like, hey, maybe you're just trying something that isn't the right fit for you, and it's better to transition, and you'll find a better way.
Yeah.
Yeah, definition of insanity, right? Repeating the same thing with getting the same result, expecting something different. It's just, I mean, of course.
Exactly. Okay.
So he's like, hey, man, there's a pet-friendly hotel with some room down in Houston. We're doing extension.
Pet-friendly? What, did you have a pet then?
Well, there's just a bunch of guys that have dogs and pets and stuff, and I didn't have one, but one of my roommates did, and he's like, just go give it one more month. Give it a shot, and if it's not for you, it's not for you. And I was like, cool, I'll go down there. Like, he's like, I'll pay for your plane tickets. I was like, oh, sweet, like, no risk. And so I went there, and I'd done 25, and then that month, I was the #1 extension rep for the whole company. I did 30 in that month, and my whole life was changed. I got there Wednesday. I sold 1 Wednesday, 2 Thursday, 1 Friday, and 4 on Saturday.
What could you say was it mindset? Was it the transition? Was it getting out of what was that one thing you could point to that was like, hey, that did it?
It sounds so cliche, but I just didn't give up. I really just didn't quit.
So on that dip, you didn't give up.
It seems like
kept
the
going.
not quitting with just a little critique, right?
Right.
That made all the difference.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. But if you think about the dip, like I was talking about earlier, like you did make a change, right? You did transition to another place, so it worked. Yeah,
100%.
Staying in Tacoma.
I had to get that little fine tune, and that's what, if you guys are just starting wholesaling or you're just starting in real estate, don't go and make a bunch of mistakes. These guys have the wisdom to listen to what they did and not do what they did for 3 years, and you can start closer to where they're at.
Dude, it's hilarious. Like when me and Corey first started wholesaling, we teamed up with this broker, and he was like, we split the business 30-30-30, because we're like the third. And he was like, the value I provide you guys is experience. So after we failed for like 3 months with him, we're like, hey, this isn't working out. This is probably better if we just part ways.
Months. It was like 6 to 9 months, probably.
6 to 9 months after failing for that long. We basically went to him and said, hey, we're gonna leave. It's just not working to give you 30% when we're not even really that successful. And he's like, you shouldn't leave because I provide the experience. And I'm like, but bro, like your experience hasn't helped us get to where we need to go. And
he was experienced in real estate, just not in wholesaling.
Right? And I remember
which is what we needed help
when we were trying to leave, and so we were talking about the cold calling. We hired like a bunch of cold callers, our friends. We were paying them $15 an hour, which is a mistake. You don't pay, people $15 an hour to cold call. That's like a $5 an hour job in Egypt. But anyway, he was like, you guys are gonna leave my experience behind if you leave, and I was like, bro, we spent $15 an hour. Like, why didn't you tell us with your experience that was a bad idea instead of us wasting all our money? He's like, he just didn't have that experience that like we needed, or like what needed.
But we've had other mentors that have been a big help to us.
Yeah, no, mentors are huge,
so,
dude. I mean,
but no one's gonna put you on though. It still comes down to what you're going to do.
Every day, dude.
The critiques.
You gotta produce the results.
It's gonna be you out there like on the phone, in the house, what it's still going to come down to you, but it really is important. Like there's 4 main guys in my lifetime as a salesperson that I can say like, without them, I'm not who I am today. That's Keith Dyer, who I already said, my first manager, Rob Reimer, Tyler Mickelson, that regional. Shout out to Jason Durfee, Zach Ard, and Brady Martinez. They were managers in my Houston squad. They did a lot for me too, and Jordan Melhoff. Those 4 guys, I mean, but they still didn't go in all my closes with me.
You forgot one, dude. The one that worked. No, I was going to say the one that carried you through the sand.
Shout out to Jesus.
Jesus.
Oh, well,
he got you.
I mean, that's first of all.
That's a given.
That's for sure.
And also the greatest salesman ever.
Because I know you were probably praying during that sales.
Oh.
We all were. We're praying for a deal. I remember when I'd be knocking, I'd be like, I just need one deal. please.
I never prayed for deals.
You never did? I
prayed for opportunities.
Opportunities.
I prayed for opportunities for them, that I'd run into the right people. They'd thought about my product. They were talking about it last night. I'd pray for like circumstance to work out, and then I'd go to work as if it were, to make it real. But
I remember my last couple years of selling dish, like I wouldn't zero out. Like I went like 2 seasons where I would never zero, and there was this one time it was getting like 8:30 at night, and I was like, I can't zero, and I like said a prayer. I was like, I gotta find somebody, and some little lady opened that door like 8:30, and I got it, and I kept my streak going for like 2 years.
It's amazing.
Yeah, it's honestly crazy, but yeah.
So a lot of people ask me that question, like, how am I so consistent? So you did it for 2 years. What's your thoughts on consistency?
Consistency is I would never stop knocking, period. Never. Like
Vistador.
Yeah. I would always someone didn't answer, boom, boom, all day. Because if you don't knock the doors, it's the same thing with wholesaling, right? If you don't make in your offers daily, you're not going to get deals. It's the exact same thing with knocking doors. Like if you don't hit those doors, you ain't gonna have the opportunities.
Sounds like it comes down to a numbers game.
It's a numbers game.
What you lack in skill, you make up for in numbers. So if you're new to the game, what you lack in skill, you're gonna make up for through repetition. Just bottom line. So you gotta get out there and get your reps in.
And we struggle.
But also like what you can do through effort. Like skill can't even beat that.
Skill cannot beat effort, dude.
It just can't.
Like in our business, we struggle
100%.
with the effort sometimes, just because you have a good month, maybe with door to door is a little easier with effort because you're like, I'm only here for 3 months.
It's also very straightforward as like what you have to do.
Oh, you talking about with door to door?
You go knock.
Yeah,
and you talk
and it's with like a 3 or 4 month period. It's like, hey, I'm gonna freaking go to town this time because this is my time. With the day to day job, it's like, maybe there's a couple other things that I can do. There's other stuff that gets caught up.
Parts of the business.
Yeah. But it all comes down to consistency if you want to do it, like 100%.
Consistency runs the game. And then you want to peel back some of the deeper questions that you have with yourself, like what drives you as a person, like what's going to get you to burn the midnight oil after you get a $60,000 check. Mm-hmm. Because if you're a guy that's going to go vacation, well, that $60,000 check you maybe made in a month or a couple weeks or whatever, divide that by the amount of time you're not working.
Right.
So it wasn't a $60,000 check. It was a $20,000 check. It was a $10,000 check. It was a $5,000 check. So you have to ask yourself, like, why am I doing what I'm doing? And then who am I going to pay this forward to? What am I going to give from receiving all this?
Exactly right. Like me and Corey have talked about this plenty of times. It's what drives you. It shouldn't be money because this isn't knocking doors. Money's great, but it's not really. It sucks. I know. I've done it. You've done it. Our job is tough. What you're really doing this for is to build. We're building something. We want to build something great, leave behind something, and that's a legacy, right? And I'm sure that's why you're working hard. You're trying to build something.
Yeah, first of all, like, what else am I gonna do? I know it's a practical thing to think about. Like, what else are you gonna do?
Yeah, exactly.
Get famous on TikTok? Oh, cool. Like,
and then what?
Easy come, easy go.
Yeah, I'm sure those people get famous quick, and
that's great.
They fall off quick.
Clap, but then
that's because they haven't really created impact.
Like the one hit wonders, man, of the 90s.
Yeah, like if you get famous on TikTok and it was easy, like you haven't done anything to create an impact.
Yeah, that's so true.
People that last created a lasting impact.
I think it was Dale Carnegie. They found his Bible folded, and inside his Bible was a little note to himself, and it was his life goal. First half of my life, I want to accumulate money. The second half, I want to give it all away. Dang. The man amassed $400 million, and we're talking this is the 20s. It's worth like $5 or $6 billion.
That's so cool, man.
And he gave it all away.
So you're a big proponent and big into reading books, like Think and Grow Rich, all that, right?
100%.
Do you have your definite chief aim or your goal that you'd like to share with the Investors Dive Nation right now? Or do you have one on the top of your head?
As far as money is concerned?
No, like what you're trying, like Dale Carnegie's...
like your ultimate goal, right?
His goal was to make money, give it away. Other people's goal is to make an impact. I don't know, I was just wondering, do you have like some you're trying to achieve where you're like, this is my purpose? Do you have one?
It's
okay if you don't have one.
It's not specific, but it's just in how I live, like every day. I mean, that's such a deep question.
It is a deep question. It's probably longer.
But I do have answers for it. The short the short answer is like I want to become like Jesus. I want to become like the greatest salesman to ever walk the planet.
That's literally mine. Like mine, not to get spiritual or like religious with everybody. It's to become a true disciple of Jesus Christ, or to become like a perfect. Because Jesus Christ, if you believe in that, which I do, it was perfect, right? So what is the purpose of life? It's to become perfect, like become like him. So that's my goal,
right?
And that's through treating people with respect, being honest with all your fellow man, doing all that, because then you're leaving behind something great. Because when you die, like, what are people going to remember you for? They're not going to remember you for your money. They're not going to remember for you, maybe for Investor Thrive, who knows? But they're going to remember, Nate was a great guy. Sam was awesome. He always, I got in a car wreck, he picked me up or something. That's what people remember. And that's what the definite chief aim is mine. It sounds like
I mean, and money is a great measuring tool of value provided. Like, every dollar that's in anyone's bank account is an IOU from the marketplace saying, hey, you provided this much value, thank you. It's a thank you card.
It's true.
So, but there's plenty of it. Money, all that, like, time is way more valuable than money. Like, you can always get more money, but once you spend a day, days are expensive.
Right.
Every day you spend is one less day here. Average is 28,000 days. Okay, like, so how many have you spent already?
That's a good question. I saw someone on Facebook, they posted how much time I have left in my life. He did something like that. He like calculated how many days he had left before he died. So that was pretty interesting.
One of the things that, like, I know Corey and I have talked about, like Jordan Peterson talks about, like, when you do take full responsibility for your life, you realize that you want to give and give and give and give. Because once you kind of figure out a secret sauce or a recipe for success, like, the natural thing is to want to share that with other people.
Exactly.
So other people can feel.
That's why we create Investor Thrive, trying to help out the world. I'm being serious. Like, it was a struggle. And I mean, business is a struggle, but like when you're brand new, you don't know what to do at all.
Zero.
You don't know. So we're telling you guys, Investor Thrive Nation, make freaking offers on all the houses you can get. Just like with knocking doors, go knock some freaking doors.
The interesting thing too is, like, we are talking about like these big ultimate goals we have, but it's through doing those little daily things.
Oh gosh.
That gets you to where you want to go, right?
Small.
So like, if your goal is to make a bunch of money, give it all away, like doing the little things each day, like making offers, that's how you're going to get there.
Yep.
It's not.
Yeah, it's true.
There's a book out there called The Compound Effect. If you haven't read it, like, it's a quick read. I'm not a reader. I have ADD. Like, I hate reading books. Audible.
Reading's tough.
YouTube, man, you can pretty much get anything on YouTube. But The Compound Effect is one of those books that altered my way of thinking, and knowing that if I'm just consistent and I don't quit long enough, like, whatever result I want in any aspect of my life, like, I can have that.
100%.
Slight edge.
Slight edge. I mean, to be real, there's thousands of those books,
and they're all teaching the same small, minute thing.
It's crazy, but it's such a simple
like,
thing.
If you think about like these big goals, like, what is like a big action you can do to like
the quantum leap, right?
To like make that goal, and it's usually not a big thing,
no,
right?
It's not.
Like, so you can sit around thinking about, like, how can I accomplish this big goal? But it's usually, like, something small and little that you do, like, consistently
100%.
That turns into this big result.
I mean, you like working out. It's just like working out.
Yeah.
You got to freaking...
If everyone in America could go work out for 9 hours and be jacked or ripped or slim thick for the ladies, like, whatever, right?
Slim thick.
They'd all do it, right? They'd all do it. Everyone would do it, but
course.
It's the death by 1,000 paper cuts that no one wants to do.
I don't want to do that.
But if you're willing to risk, for the extraordinary, you will never be ordinary. Like, you will become something that you never thought you could become.
Dude, you just said it. That's exactly right. And I think that's why a lot of people don't achieve success in this life, because it's very hard. If someone wants to say it's easy, they're lying. It is. Whether you're awesome at sales.
It wouldn't be worth it either.
No. It definitely wouldn't be worth it. Like that TikTok stuff here. I don't follow TikTok. I don't watch any of that stuff. But I'm assuming some people hit it big, and then, easy come, easy go. It's probably not as fulfilling. If I made a video today, somehow got viral, I wouldn't care. I'd be like, whoa, okay, I didn't do anything for it. That means nothing to me. That's why, by the way, Investor Thrive Nation, properties that are inherited in probate, they don't really mean anything to people, because it's just like free money that they just got. They didn't work in the home. They didn't do much. So these people are willing to sell ASAP, because they're like, hey, I just earned got a $900,000 or $500,000 property, I'll sell it at $350 just because it's new. It's just found money. Let's get rid of it. So
if you guys had to break it down, like for all the people that are trying to get into wholesale, like what's the barrier to entry? Like what if you could go back and have a conversation with Nate and with Core, like when you guys were third in your business and paying people, like what would you, like small rocks, right? What are the small things that you guys would say, hey, this is what you need to focus on. This is what you need to do every day until you get to this point, then transition to the next thing. Like what advice would you give you guys? Like
that's a great question, man. So
no doubt.
It's very interesting that you asked that question because the same advice we'd give ourselves 3 years ago is the same advice we're giving ourselves today. It's the same.
Offers.
No, don't let anyone go by.
Don't let yourself get tricked. Like me and Nate we'll sit and we'll talk about like what we need to do, strategize, and we'll do it for hours. And what is the conclusion we came to the other day?
Make everyone an offer.
Make more offers.
Interesting.
And that's like something we've done. It's like the basic part of the business.
Well, it's what moves the business forward. Like we're obviously trying to coach, right? We're trying to help people. Don't let the coaches and all that crap that's out there fool you guys. There's nothing that you can pay me and Corey to tell you or any coach that will give you a list or anything that's going to change your life. You freaking got to go out there and do it. We can motivate you to do it, but
we can help hold you accountable.
What's that?
the Nike sign.
That's the Nike.
Just do it.
That's just the craziest thing. So you're asking me again, what could we do that we could tell ourselves the same thing I didn't do today? I need to make more offers. That's it.
Everything in your wholesaling business should be centered around making more offers.
Yep.
Like
taking action.
Your value to the marketplace as a wholesaler is deals that you bring to investors, and you don't get deals without making offers.
And that's making the right offers too, because you can waste a lot of time making whack offers that won't get accepted, or they do get accepted and you're crapping your pants because you can't sell it.
The quantity and the quality of your offers should be your number one focus.
Number one. So, and you can make offers anywhere. You can make offers on the MLS, on Zillow, on your own leads. Like, there's no excuse. If you want to get deals, the issue that people have is they give up before they hit it, right? Or they don't create a system that allows them to do it consistently.
Right. Sweet.
I mean, it's the same thing probably with knocking doors. Like, if you could get more people offers knocking doors, you'd be a billionaire, right? If you could solve that problem of, like, putting everybody out a door. I mean, that's why they try to recruit so heavy.
Yeah, and there's two things in addition to your guys' point of how to accelerate the process. Like, so number one, I think we can all agree is to take action. The first thing you got to go do it. Like, that's number one. But number two, like, you can take a dull machete out in the woods and go start cutting down trees, but like you're gonna have a tough time. But if you sharpen your axe and go take action, so meaning the skills that it requires to get deals sold, to get deals done, the number of deals, like
how you make offers,
how you make them. Yeah, I mean that's huge.
Let me give you an example today on making offers. Was really cool. So Jake, our acquisition guy, got a text back from this guy, and he said, hey, I received your email offer about a month ago. I'm ready to accept your offer. Jake never talked to the guy, never did anything to talk to him. He just sent an email with $70,000 offer. The guy said, I'm ready to take it. Jake gets on the phone with him, and the guy said, out of everybody that I filled the form for, you're the only one that made me a written offer. And I spent an hour trying to find it through my text message. Then I realized it was an email. So then I found it on my email, and now I'm calling you back. So
to go off that, here's something that me and Nate talked about doing. Every single lead, every single person that's selling a house is getting 3 things from us. 4 things. An emailed offer, a text offer, probably a written offer in the mail.
Shoot.
And a verbal offer.
That's good. The written is the greatest gift, right? Like everything is good.
It's serious when it's written.
When it's put, that's what the guy said. It was the written offer that made it that I called you guys back. So, and I'm sure he filled out multiple forms and talked to, because we all do this. We do this in our business. We're just trying to get on the phone with people so we can talk to them. They don't want to talk to you half the time. They want a freaking offer. And I'm sure that's the same thing when we were doing door-to-door. People want to talk to us. Just tell me what you can do quickly. If even a door-to-door, think of this. Like, if this might not be so much for solar because you got to explain. But if you're
Sure.
just a knock on the door and someone's like, I ain't got time, be like, hey, I get it. This is what I can do in a short summary written out, like a pamphlet. You know, I wonder how much that would help. You know, you wouldn't use it as a
It
crutch,
makes it
though.
feel real.
I don't have any fluff in my sales presentation at all. There's zero. It's 100% transparency and it's quick.
One thing you do, like I know because I've seen you like practice and do all that stuff. One thing you do is you write down for them, right? Like everything. Like you explain it, you write out the numbers. And so when they not only hear that, when they see it, it becomes real to them, right?
Mm-hmm.
So like when they see the numbers in a solar pitch or when they see the written offer, that's when it's real. Hearing is like,
Bro, you can just hear
in
someone
one
yap.
ear, right out the other. Like half the time.
So if you want to do something that can help people see your words, say this. This is a go-to line if you're doing phone sales in front of someone. Say, okay, so imagine, or hypothetically speaking, imagine a purple elephant dancing. Purple elephant dancing. You're going to think of that. So if you're in wholesaling, you're in solar, security, pest, whatever. If you sit down with a prospective buyer and you want them to start thinking what you're thinking, say the word imagine. It's one of the most powerful words that you can use when you're trying to influence someone to do something because it's going to help them think what you're thinking.
It's pretty sweet.
It's
I
a
didn't know
very,
that.
very powerful word. Use
Seller,
it.
imagine.
nugget.
Imagine this.
So
I like
imagine that you just stress like imagine that you just sold your house to us. The transaction went smoothly. You were happy with everything. You're painting a picture for them.
That's
right?
good.
So when I'm sitting down with a solar buyer, right, like they're concerned about the holes in the roof. They have all these objections and these concerns. But if I say imagine and the scenario is not that, they're not imagining the concerns. They're now imagining the
Imagine no
the
power
better.
bill.
Imagine never having to pay the utility company another dollar of your hard-earned money and redirecting that payment into.
So then they're not thinking about the holes. They're not thinking about anything. They're thinking about that's how it feels. That's what a lot of John Martinez, a lot of trainers say. It's like paint the picture of the end in mind. Not so much the end in mind. He says it's
kind of end in mind, like the goal.
The goal of like, hey, you know, I know life is tough right now, Mr. Seller, but you know, Matt, where are you going to be, you know, once this gets sold and everything is done? Well, I'm going to be in Jamaica chilling with the ladies. Imagine being in Jamaica on the beach chilling with the ladies. That's where we're trying to get you. Now, I know there's a lot of stuff in the way. Yeah, so that's something I don't use.
So like,
that's pretty
much all of business and sales is basically just like you executing your business model, right? Like all of business is about helping people get from point A to point B, right?
Mm-hmm.
Helping them make that progress that they want to make. And as a sales guy, like your job is to help them get there, make the decision. Like if this is where they want to go, like I can help you get there, right?
Yeah.
And so painting that picture for them of what that looks like, when they get there, is exactly what.
That's something I need to improve on in my job because I'm analytical.
We don't paint the picture very
We don't
well.
paint the picture very good. That's very good. That's
I've
very
got,
good.
I mean, so I think every sale that I've ever sold, I sold it within the first 5 minutes of meeting someone.
Wow.
Every single one. We've all heard the old adage, like sales is a transfer of energy. Everyone's heard that, right? I agree with that statement, but the real question is, well, how do you transfer energy? You don't come into, hey, like, we'd love to buy your, hey, buddy, old pal, like an
infomercial.
No.
Yeah.
So what you want to know is if there's 20 reasons why they should sell you their property, and there's one reason that they're actually going to sell the property, what good is it for you to go in there and start blabbing your mouth about all the reasons they should sell to you?
Yeah, you got to find out what's their why.
Mm-hmm.
Well, no, actually, when you bring this up, I actually do this. I went to the house we did in Green Street, and the guy was talking about how he was selling because he wanted to go to Maryland on a ranch, Maine, in a nice farm ranch area. And I was like, man, that sounds like so much fun. What is that going to look like for you? And he's like, oh man, I'm going to be on my freaking razor.
Spilled it to you.
Yeah,
right?
I'm gonna be on my razor, just mobbing around on my land, chilling. And I'm like, that sounds great. That sounds like a dream. We kind of talked about like that's what I'd like to do. But kind of in a roundabout way, you kind of find out what they're trying to accomplish and get them hyped about it.
So it sounds like he already had that picture painted, right?
Yeah.
So it sounds like sometimes though, I don't think people have
the picture.
Right?
That's right.
And
he had it, and I hyped on it because I was like, that sounds like a great picture.
A lot of people have a problem, right?
Mm-hmm.
But they don't know the solution yet. Like he has a problem. he knew the solution, and that's why that deal was so easy.
It was very easy,
right?
Yeah.
But like we deal with a lot of people with a lot of problems, but they don't have a point B. They don't have a picture. They don't have a place where they're trying to get.
Neither do we for them.
The difference between like lower tier sales guys and like the top tier is anyone can go sell the lay down person, right?
Oh,
but
yeah.
it's creating the sales, creating that environment, creating an atmosphere where like they have peace of mind in doing business with you. And so when you're, let's say, we've all walked into a deal and the person's sitting there, the arms are folded, they're like up and down in you, and like
You feel the tension.
there's immediate.
That's true.
Like my basic formula for success is like, cool, like where are you guys from? Because everyone has a place they're from. If they're married, how did you two meet? I want to stir up emotion. I want to create like emotions between these two people.
Right,
Okay,
right.
awesome. Like, what do you do for work? Oh, really cool. Are those your grandkids? And then I transition with wholesaling or solar, whatever it is, with like, okay, cool. My job is really simple today. Like, I'm not going to ask for your business if you don't completely understand what I'm here to explain to you. I'm just here to give you options, and we're going to find together the best route of success.
Yeah, so you set that
And if
stage.
it doesn't make sense, like, I'm not going to twist your arm. Like, that's not why I'm here. So I want to relieve the buying pressure. And then I say it comes down to two basic things. Number one, you understanding, and number two, qualifying.
Right.
Like, qualifying is the pullback, and
That's huge.
That is straight from Jordan Melhoff. So shout out Melhoff. Like, that is one of the most genius sales approaches, which is basically, hey, number one, understanding,
shoot, bro.
because you help them understand.
What
Then
if we
this-
did that? We were like, number two, you have to qualify for our buying program.
Number one, the only reason
a
people don't
pullback.
sell their house to us is because they don't understand it. Number two, they don't qualify.
I mean, I don't know
That's
if
basically what he says, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it directly.
This is good stuff because to be real, like I'm over to sales. Like I do deals and I help our acquisition guy. And I come to a point where like we're good. We don't need to train anymore. But then everything you're saying, I'm like, dang, there's so much more we
I feel
could
like
do.
in Dispo we need to do this too, like selling
my-
the deal. Like we need to paint the picture
to
for
the
investor.
buyer, be like, Mr. Buyer, how are you gonna feel to
It's
have
all
a
sales. It's all influence. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
You're good.
Mr. Investor, imagine how great this house will be once you fix it up and you make it all nice and you sell it for a top dollar and you get all this profit.
Your family's gonna love. They're gonna see, everyone in the community's gonna see how good at flipping you are. You're gonna be able to.
You're gonna beautify the neighborhood. Imagine all that.
Yeah, I think you're right. Like we don't put everybody should be getting trained, and I train Jake, on and off, but I train him for like maybe 10, 15 minutes a day, maybe. Like I think we don't put an emphasis on like how important it is.
Well, people think in solar specifically, and I know in wholesaling too, like it comes down to dollars and cents, right? Like people will be discounting, making all these crazy concessions to make a deal happen. No, you just have weak value. You're not presenting value for what you're offering. Why are they going to go with you?
haven't
Why
painted
would,
a good enough
why would they pay the premium to use you versus someone else? Why would they buy your house versus someone else? It's like,
What value are you providing to get that the deal you need? Because I was talking with Jake and most of the guys, like, in order to really flip a house, you need a really good deal. You need a really good deal, like an amazing deal. So you got to get it. Sometimes in sellers right now, whether their house is worth it or not, they want retail always. They just want as much as they can get. So you have to explain to them and help them understand like why you need it for that price. And if you're just like, let's just crunch the numbers, like it's not going to work. But if you can, help them paint the picture, see how you're going to help them, what value you're going to provide, the convenience, the speed, the ease, you're probably going to get better deals.
And honestly, painting the picture of like the actual situation to the seller, like, hey, like these are the actual facts of the market, right? Like, because a lot of times sellers want more, and their house is a piece of trash.
I know, yeah. Like to be real, the one we got in South Jordan for $344,
Probably needed that at 300.
we probably needed it for lower. We'll see how we do. We're selling it right now, and I think we'll be fine. But it's just like, but for her, that was like the lowest. Like that was a slap in the face because she didn't understand, and we didn't paint the picture like, hey, this is all the work that needs to be getting done. We're gonna solve this problem, and eventually you're gonna have all this money where you don't have to worry about it. So that's why we got Barbara a while ago, because we painted that picture. Her chilling in Price, Utah, no mortgage. She'd feel great. That's what got it done.
Yeah.
So we need to improve on that thing. That's why it took the ultimate closer to come in here and remind us of the importance of sales
Whip
skills.
us into shape.
I meant what's that Franklin Covey training that you got? Like that guy says daily training. Like if you want to master any skill, drums, soccer,
says, like,
anything, it's daily incremental practice.
Yeah, he says like salespeople are not born; they're made essentially through
You're bred.
consistent practice.
Let's talk about that. I
was not a natural born sales guy. Like I thought like, oh, your personality, if people like you, it's like they might like you, they might think you're a great guy. They ain't shaking hands on a deal if they don't trust you, if they don't believe what you're saying, if they're not confident. Like you can be the greatest sales guy ever, but when it comes down to closing, like if you're like nervous, if you have nervous energy, they're gonna take that on. They're like, oh, this guy's like feeling weird.
Energy is so true too, bro. You can feel it through the phone. You can feel it in person. It's crazy.
Yeah. So like, for example, if someone's like objecting to, like in solar, right? There's hurricanes. I was in Florida for a little bit, and they're worried about holes in their roof and all. It's like, oh, don't worry, Mr. Customer. Like, we just give you a bunch of buckets, so when it leaks out, like you just have a bunch of buckets, and you get that right there. You get a smile, and then you go, no, like we have warranties in place to ensure you have a good experience. Who's your homeowner's insurance through? Mm-hmm. Concise, like quick statement that's confident, that you've rehearsed and said 1 billion times, because that confidence translates to like, yeah, this guy sells 1 billion houses. No matter if you've done one house or you've done.
Yeah, we get that all the time. Like the objections when they come, you know what they are, and you already know why they're asking that. Like I get this all the time. Where are you guys located? Because we do this nationwide. So why would someone care where we're located? Because they want to make sure we're legit. That's pretty much it. So
right.
They're probably feeling
credibility.
They want
they're
credibility.
Probably feeling nervous. That's why they even asked.
So I say, hey, that's a good question. You must be asking that because you want to know if we're credible. We do. I personally live in Salt Lake City, Utah, but we do deals all over the country, and we'd love to work with you or something like that. And then they're like, oh, he understands why I'm asking that, and he answered it quickly and directly.
Yeah.
If they have a problem with that, then we can discuss it more. But you quick, concise answers, they don't feel like you're BSing. When you answer that long question, the
more you're talking,
that's why practice
you
is important too.
Losing the deal.
Because with practice, you learn the quick, concise answers. When you're not practiced or trained, that's when you like just kind of wing it, ramble.
We've winged it. We've winged it a lot, just hoping that they'll get lost.
What's the number one objection you guys hear that you struck? Like everyone in this industry is like, boom, like this.
That's probably price. Price is the number one objection.
Price is too low.
Just because people, they don't understand that.
There is a different dynamic too with like, I don't fully understand it, but between like selling someone something, right? Like what you're doing with solar, and us buying something from a seller, right?
They're holding their value, and you're trying to devalue to get a lower number. Like it's a different dichotomy.
So we haven't quite like understand. I don't quite understand like the psychology behind it.
It's difficult. What I find is if you actually, the things that work for me and getting them to understand is education. Like if you educate them on the comps, what's selling, how much it actually costs to flip a house, their options. Okay, hey, you can sell it with an agent, but this is what it'll look like. If you educate people, then they understand. But if you just try to like talk it to them over the phone, like they're just gonna be like, this guy's just trying to rock me. That's what I've seen.
Sure, people do not want to make a bad decision.
Yeah.
Number one, like in any transaction.
And that's what you do in your sales. You educate, right?
100%. That's why I have literal paper, no iPad, no gimmicks. I have a piece of beautiful white paper and a pen, and I literally
college roll.
No, it's all white. I like it to be crisp.
Nice.
Plain white.
Yeah, I use sketch pads, kind of random, but
that's another thing. This guy in Green Street, I met him in person, and he was saying, "Hey, look, I've had tons of people call me. I ain't doing business with anyone over the phone ever."
My man's just old school.
As he did business with someone over the phone while we were there, he was like, "Hell, this is my mortgage guy in Maryland or Maine. I gotta get but that's how they are, right?
I'm not making a same day decision, and yet they
make
cutting me an $83,000 loan.
Exactly.
Check. It's
when you cut sales down. I mean, it's really essentially about helping someone make a decision, right? That's a win-win. A win for them, a win for us.
Yeah. No one's begrudgingly writing you a check. That just doesn't happen.
No one's selling us their house unless there's a win there, and we need to help paint that win.
And that's the funny thing about people are like, oh, you take advantage of people. Some people have said that about business. I'm like, bro, you ain't taking advantage of anybody. This is their decision because you get them to sign a contract. It's got to go through escrow. It's got to go through paperwork. Like, this is a long
They
decision.
typically have 30 days to think about it.
Yeah, exactly. So anyway, interesting.
Yeah, there's horror stories in every industry, but it still just comes down to people understanding what you're there to do. Like, hey, this is what's in it for us.
The horror stories are usually
This
them
is what's in it
being
for you.
taught and then saying, I wasn't told that. Or like, nah. I mean, unless someone's a blatant liar,
Sure.
which that dude shouldn't, that person will probably not last very long if they're just lying to everybody
No, of
in
course
any
not.
sales. So
Easy come, easy go. But
Especially nowadays.
I think
They're
early
honest.
on too, like when I was trying to learn some of these things, like you gotta get your butt next to the best dudes. Like all those people that I've listed, Keith, Rob, Jordan, like these guys are all titans of industry. They're the best. So don't take your advice from
are
people
they
that,
older or how?
Mel's my age. Mel Hoff is. My cousin Keith's 10 years my senior. Rob's about 7 years older than me. Like these are when I was 22. These guys.
So
were
these
30.
guys just had more experience. It seems like.
Yeah, they had more experience. They'd been there, and they had the numbers to back it. Like they had the proof of concept, right? Like
Because what me and Corey do, I do this more than him, is I compare our business and ourselves to 45-year-olds, 40-year-olds, 50-year-olds, and I'm like,
Yeah.
dude,
They've been running the business for 10 to 15 years.
I'm like, dang, those guys are freaking good. Like we're doing like 5-6 deals a month sometimes less, sometimes more depending on the month.
Sure.
And you just hear that these guys are doing like 20-30 deals a month, and you
Yeah.
just hear the
you need the window wipers.
yeah,
man.
you just hear the good, big picture. I mean, not the big picture, the good stuff. And I'll be transparent with people. I don't care. Like sometimes we don't close any deals because the freaking, what would you say? Title companies suck and it takes longer than it's supposed to. That's just how it is.
That's part of the early grind. Yeah, no one posts their failures out there like
They post that highlight reel, not the blooper reel, baby.
Sure. But the blooper is how you become the highlight, though. Eventually is by making the mistakes and then working at it to.
You know what's funny
wholesale-
too?
better.
Wholesaling has like proof of concept, right? Like it's made lots and lots of millionaires over time, right? And real estate in general has even a bigger proof of concept. So like it's just about not quitting. Like if you want to get to that millionaire status, like wholesaling is a great avenue, I think.
Yeah, like for
It's
example,
just about sticking with it.
sticking with it, like this house we're doing in South Jordan. No, not South Jordan. Roy. I thought we were going to make like 20, 15K each because we're flipping it with someone. Now it might not be any money. You think that's stopping me? Ain't no way.
Yeah, South Jordan ain't looking too hot either.
Yeah. I mean, it's just, are we going to let that stop us? No. But we're probably not going to make those mistakes again.
Well,
That's just
key.
how it is.
I mean, that's the point.
And that's the cool thing about getting a mentor, guru, someone to help you, because then they'll be like, dude, don't do that. That's a mistake. And you're like, oh, I didn't see that. Thank you.
One thing that I'll put out there too, like my cousin Keith and I did our own company in Washington, and then I came back to Vivint for a year in Alabama, and that's where a good friend of mine in Washington, his cousin was a baller sales guy, and I just wanted to get better at sales, and so I met him, and I just kind of got to know him, thought he was a cool dude, but like I didn't negotiate a sign-on bonus, I didn't negotiate overrides to like make my clip, like every dollar that he earned, I got in value of learning skills from him. One thing that the top performers are the top guys in wholesale. So we got done in McCalla, Alabama. I had a good day. I sold 2 on like a Thursday or Friday. I was like, yeah, man, good day. Like we get in the car and he's like ticked off. And we got it. He might have picked me up at like 10 or 10:15. And the whole ride home in the car, like he was just talking about this family, this young couple that he could not close. He was just like so frustrated. He's like, dude, do you think it was this or this? And finally we came to a conclusion like it was this objection and he should have handled it this way. And I'm getting out of the car. I was like, dude, how'd you do today? He's like, I got 7.
He's mad about that one.
The only thing we talked about, the 45-minute car ride home was the one he didn't get.
That's crazy.
That's all he cared about.
That's how it is in our business, too, though. We'll close the deal, and I'll just be like, dude, this freaking seller is ghosting me. What the heck? They won't answer my calls. That's just how it is. I don't know why we're built that way. I don't know if it's so much of a personality thing, like you want to be the best, or if that's just how humans are built, where
No, it's called there's a theory about it, like the fear of loss is like way stronger
than the winning.
than, yeah.
Because we just closed the deal yesterday. I'm not even thinking about it. I
Yeah.
don't even care. Move on. Like, I want more, right? And it's like, But I remember me losing a deal.
Sure.
Like 2 weeks ago. I'm still mad about that. I'm like, man, if we would have just done this, we probably would have gotten that done. So it's interesting.
I'm a big Seahawks fan. I only think about the interception on the 1 yard line, not the Super Bowl we won the year before. But
That's right. Well, that's probably how you learn, right? Like if you're more focused on learning from your mistakes than your wins, and you're probably gonna be better at getting better quicker.
Phil
You just
Jackson.
need a healthy combination, right?
Yeah, you also can't be too cynical and you got to be positive and like focus on your wins, or you'll never be happy.
For sure. Phil Jackson, coach of the Bulls and the Lakers, he said, "You're only a success when you've completed a successful act." So you sold a house yesterday. That doesn't make you a success today. Yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
I think like Kobe and Jordan, these like massive winners, it's like they weren't satiated by a championship.
Oh, bro.
Tom Brady, one of my favorite videos of him, he's being interviewed. He's won 3 Super Bowls, and the interviewer is like, what's your favorite Super Bowl? And he's just like, the next one.
Yeah. It's crazy, isn't it?
It's the next deal.
It's
the next
so
one.
amazing. Like I think about these Olympic swimmers, anyone that wins the gold. It's like, dude, you've achieved pretty much the greatest height of your athletic career, and like, what now?
Now what?
Now what? And they're like, I've heard a lot of Olympic athletes get like depressed after, because they like
Sure.
reached a pinnacle or a height, and then they're like, well, what do I do now? Like, I've done what I've trained my whole life for. And it's interesting that
Well, they talk about like we need some chemical in the brain. We need like to be pursuing something meaningful at all times, right? And like when we're moving towards that goal, we get a little shot of that
dopamine
probably. And so like consistently moving towards a meaningful goal is kind of like where that like fulfillment and I guess joy or peace or comes from.
And there's no end to the work that
it's never gonna
to
end,
improvement, right? Like
raising a family too. It's just like your kid's always growing, so you're literally always like something's happening.
Totally. I mean, you have to, you work hard at your job, you're going to make a living, but if you work hard on yourself, you'll make a fortune.
Right.
Success is something you attract by the person you become. So the person you become that's your choices and habits. Like, that's what distinguishes us from like the trees, the sun, the moon, the stars, alligators, and random stuff. Like, we have the dignity to make choices and decisions every day. And I think in this podcast and Thrive Nation, number one is to take action.
Thrive Nation.
Number one.
If you get one thing from this podcast,
If you
what
want
is
to
it?
thrive,
Action.
Take action.
Take action, because you'll make mistakes, but like you'll naturally learn not to do that again. Like, we all learn the stove's hot. Doesn't matter if it takes you 7 times. If you listen to Nate and Corey, maybe you don't have to touch it 7 times in real estate and wholesaling. Maybe you only touch it once or twice, but the more that you can, soak in all the information from the people who've come before you, you're going to be that much further ahead in the game.
It's interesting. We'll kind of wrap it up, but it's interesting. Like, you all hear the stories of like wholesalers that like they made a couple calls and they got like a $200,000 deal, like something stupid, right? And then, who knows if those guys got what it takes to keep going? They didn't go through the furnace to realize, hey, you're not getting another.
Money will run out eventually.
Yeah, like not only their money will run out, but is that person willing to make 2,000 calls to get their next deal?
Because what you want, whether it's like you think of it as yourself or your business, you want it to be a deal generating machine, right? Something that can produce a result like no matter what, right? And so you want to create that. It's not about getting one deal.
No, never about one deal. It's never about one deal.
It's about always being able to get deals through a system.
I had an interesting thought I want to ask you guys about. So this metaverse, I don't know anything about it, but I was just thinking, like, we're talking about how the joy you feel and the pursuit of something great in real life, improving yourself or your business. I feel like it could be a very bad thing if people are in like a virtual universe where like they're just not. It's just fake, right? Like, could that? I mean, you could technically
Have you
think
seen
like
Ready Player One?
Yeah,
He's like living in a trailer, but
he's like the
having
man.
the time of his life.
Well, you could probably think the internet's like that too, but like I'm just like, man, I believe that like we're coming at the end of times, and I feel like a metaverse or something like that where people aren't even going out and they're living in like a virtual reality. That ish ain't gonna end well. If like you don't even strive to improve your life, but you're like the man in some virtual. That's like an extension of like social media, which is social media. I think already is bad.
I'm extremely competitive, so I love it.
Social media?
No, well, yeah, I love the metaverse. I love social media because everyone that wastes 1 minute of time, like that's ground that I'm gaining. Because I'm practicing. My reps are on the piano. My reps are in my sales.
In real life, baby.
In real time, real place. My reps are in shooting the ball outside when it's cold during COVID and no one's out there. Like
developing real
actual real skills. Like I had a MySpace back in the day, real quick.
Yeah,
and,
that's true.
And like my grandpa was like, hey, if you took all the time that you spent on that thing and you applied it towards stuff that you actually cared about, you'd be the most talented guy that ever walked.
Yeah. And I bring that up because I just think everyone has to be aware there's such thing as a dopamine overload and being addicted to screens and metaverses and all that stuff. Like you want to put, and I'm preaching to the choir because I even get on my phone way too much. Like you want to spend your time in stuff that's actually going to provide value to the world, right? So
Yeah.
to people, right? Like, yeah, like hanging out. Like it's way better doing this podcast with you guys than it has been.
There's the
playing on my phone.
A group message. Even.
Text in a group message.
For
I even
sure.
think Zoom calls. Like I'd much rather get with you guys with the energy than let me hit you up over the phone like a little Zoom call.
Bro, and even in sales, like person to person, like I've sold stuff over the phone, and you can definitely do it. It's your words and your tonality and your statements and your conciseness is what's going to come across. But like
I think you get
person
low
to
hanging
person-
fruit on the phone.
Oh, person to person though.
Person
man.
to person is
Another
just way
level.
better. It's phone, Zoom, person, and I would do person all day.
All day for sure.
Last question before we wrap up. So why did you decide to do sales as opposed to some other field?
That's a great question.
I might know the answer. It's a challenge.
For sure. And I think more so than anything, like it's all sales. Everything we're doing, people have different diets and, hey, what do you watch on Netflix? You should watch this show. I'm trying to tell you to watch a show. I'm trying to influence you. Hey, man, I went to this restaurant. It was so good. And we're in the business. If you've got kids, like you want your kids to make good choices and decisions. We're all trying to influence. And, you know, it's like, well, how do you do that effectively? That's fascinating to me. Like, how to influence people to make good decisions and good choices, especially if you got a good heart and you want to help people.
Yeah. Okay. So you want to learn how to influence people better.
Yep.
You know, I think of that, what you just said, and it's interesting, like, just in normal life. Like, I was talking to this guy about a Netflix show, like you said, that he liked, and he was so animated and excited about it. I was like, man, I'll check this out, because he was really excited. Like, even with that one with Freddie told us about, the animated show, what is it, Invincible? I don't really care about that, but I was like, Freddie really liked that. He was pretty excited. And I think sales, like you said, if you go into someone's house and you're excited about your product and you're like, look, this is going to help you out with the situation you're in, what you're trying to go. I'm excited for you if you decide to do this.
I fist bump people in like the deals all the time and like high five and like, because I'm going to raise the temperature. Like they're going to know like, man, by doing this, I'm going to feel this way. You know, people forget the words you say. People aren't going to remember like this podcast.
Like remember that feeling.
They're going to remember how you made them feel. That's how
That's
people are
very
going to leave you
interesting
by.
too with wholesaling, because we rarely get excited about our low offer for them, because it is low. It's lower than they'll get normally. But you're right. Like we were like, hey, look, I'm excited that we're going to help you solve this problem and get this freaking house off of your.
This is going to be great. The peace of mind, like the way you're going to feel once this burden's been lifted. Like, can you imagine like having this household, having the free flow cash to go do what you love to do? Like, this is going to be great. Here's what the offer is. Like, let's get this rolling.
Yeah. It comes
let's
back
do
to
this.
painting that picture, right?
I think one thing I've got, Investors Drive Nation, that from this podcast is by helping yourself and the seller understand the picture of what you're trying to paint and the goal they're trying to help, that will help a ton with your success.
I'm never worried about my commissions. Could care less. I don't even cash them half the time. Like I spent a whole year with Vivint checks that I didn't even cash.
You're like what's that boxer Floyd Mayweather has like the $300 million check that never cashed it because he just likes to have it for some reason.
I'm a weirdo, but yeah,
it's so interesting.
I truly care about their experience, and I know if I take care of them, that I'm going to be taken care of. I'll be compensated by the value I provided them. Like that's going to come back to me.
If you can truly believe that you're helping them achieve their goal, then you're excited. And maybe I've kind of lost sight of that as I've been doing sales. Like, but it is exciting to think like we've helped a lot of people. You know, they would be in bad situations without our help. You know,
And that can breed you confidence. Like your confidence on the phone to know that like, no, you don't want to go to this guy down the road that's going to lowball you an extra $6,000 and do you dirty and then and bait and switch you. Like you don't like either you're going to do this today with me or you're never going to do it.
Mm-hmm.
It's happening with me or no one else. It's do or die. Like this is what it is. And it's going to be with love and like smiles and camaraderie.
You do this
and
me
fist
or you
bumping.
ain't leaving this house.
That's probably what John Martinez talks about. Like, hey, like where are you going? And then he asks questions like, what would that be like? How would that make you feel?
Yeah, man.
Like
Picture perfect questions.
Yeah, he's like helping you paint that picture for you.
Dang, it's
And
so
then we
crazy.
could throw in like, yeah, imagine.
I think I'm pretty good at sales.
Yeah.
And then this just brings me back, like, dude, being an ultimate salesman is a lifelong pursuit that no one will achieve only through practice daily. Like, it's amazing. Like, I think I'm good, but I ain't good. Like, I'm not there yet, right?
Always something to improve.
Always something to improve on. So that's something from this podcast I'll tell you. We're about to go to town on some training.
Awesome.
Do it.
Dope.
Well, Investor Thrive Nation, you've been with us for a while. This was a great podcast, mainly talking about sales, which was great. Sam Roisum, we've really
Appreciate
enjoyed
it.
having you on
Thanks
here.
for coming on.
Man,
And,
anytime, guys.
You
Love
know,
it.
if we get enough love from Investor Thrive Nation, we might have you on here again. If they're just chanting your name.
Bring it on back. Let's do it.
All right. Later, guys.
See you guys.
Bye.
Peace.